to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, and is it in pardoning that we are pardoned.
Alcohol is a factor in 20 to 30% of all accidents, 22% of accident and emergency admissions in England being alcohol related alone. People are always in search of a good night and letting themselves go, but what can begin as a good night for some can turn out to be their worst.
Local Christian church members who come together to help benefit the community.
Yeah, they call anybody is called or drunk, they help them out, or if you can't get home, they will find a taxi or cab.
They're a useful resource that the police use quite regularly, mainly when we have intoxicated people.
A street pastor is somebody who goes out onto the streets of Lincoln between the hours of about 10:30 at night until 4 o'clock in the morning on a Friday and Saturday night, and we're there to help people in whatever way we can. I'm not sure that Lincoln itself has a particular problem. I think there is a cultural move for people to go out with the express purpose of drinking too much, and I do find that slightly concerning, yes. We were invited to a meeting by the Reverend Les Isaac, who founded Street Pastors. He came to a meeting in Lincoln and talked to senior church leaders about what Street Pastors involved. And he was really charismatic, and so we decided at the end of listening to him that we could do that in Lincoln. And so that was in 2007 in the January, and by the time we got things in place we went out onto the streets of Lincoln in October 2007. Well, last week we commissioned another 9 street pastors, bringing the total to 59, and currently we just want to continue doing what we do, but some areas have developed into having railway pastors and school pastors, and there's a possibility of A&E pastors. So for the moment we're just Lincoln street pastors, but there are all sorts of possibilities that we could look at in the future.
For me, I'm obviously like the youngest street pastor, I think, known to man. But I think when I speak to a lot of my friends and they're like, oh, you're a bit of a weirdo to do it, why are you so young to want to be a street pastor? I think that I've done the whole town going, drinking a lot of stuff, and really I because I'm originally from Nottingham, I never really had anyone when we were out in town, to really come and look after us and stuff. And actually, since becoming a Christian, I actually realised that instead of just being in a church, same thing that Alan said, is to actually go out into town where people are at and meet them where they're at, and not necessarily preach about Jesus to them, but just through our actions and through us being out here and caring for them, that they can see the love of Jesus through us, really. That's about it.
We try and get training from the expert agencies that are already out there doing a great job. So we would have training from AddAction. They work with anybody who has an addiction problem to drugs or alcohol. We're all basic first aid and defibrillator trained. We have training from radio and CCTV. We have listening skills. We have police input. We have training on domestic abuse. So we try and be as prepared as possible. So each year we review our training and see if there's anything that we think we've left out. This year we introduced mental health training for the first time. So each year we try and look at things that we haven't done which might be of use to us. So we keep reviewing it each year, but we do 50 hours of training and we do roles and responsibilities as well, which sort of looks at what we can do and what we can't do when we're out on the streets.
They're out normally on Friday and Saturday nights, and they patrol from around about 9-10 o'clock in the evening till around about 3-4 in the morning with us. Like I say, they are a useful resource for helping to look after the general public, really.
Yeah, the street pastors are invaluable, really. I think they do an amazing job. Obviously we deal with massive amounts of people every single week, and the street pastors do a lot to help us, whether that be looking after anybody that's intoxicated or had a little bit too much to drink, to giving people directions, or if you're leaving and your shoes hurt, somebody handing out flip-flops.
Within this venue I deal with a lot of the more intoxicated clientele as such, so we tend to deal a lot with the street pastors in making sure people, obviously we have a duty of care to our customers, so we make sure they get home nice and safely. Drunk people are unpredictable at the best of times. A lot of it is treating people how you'd like to be treated yourself, especially on a night out. The last thing you want is aggressive behaviour towards yourself, so we try to deal with everyone as best as we can.
We're known as the flip-flop people because we carry flip-flops with us so that we can give them to girls if they take their shoes off and want to walk home on the streets without anything on their feet. We carry space blankets, which means if people become ill or we're needing to wait for a taxi with them and they're cold, we can cover them up. We also say that we use space blankets to protect people's modesty, because girls in particular often go out without coats, and sometimes at the end of the evening we find that they're on the floor revealing parts of their anatomy that they wouldn't perhaps have chosen to reveal at the start of the evening. So we cover them up. We take out flasks of soup and coffee. We take Mars bars in case we come across people who are diabetic. We take bottles of water with us so that we can rehydrate people if they've drunk too much. So we try and be as prepared as possible, so we carry all these things with us.
Because when we go out on the streets, well, there is an association to see the word pastor. I mean, we are a church background, we are, church run, for want of a better word. And so you are people you're going to meet who have hostility towards you. So you get people who come up to you and will ask every single sort of theological question, and you get people who just don't want to hear any answers. So they can get hostile to you, but you just smile and wave.
We work very well with all the nighttime economy agencies, so we work with the police, with the business improvement group, with all the licensed premises, with the taxi ranks, the late night eateries, with the ambulance service. So because we've been going now for just over 6 years, I think we've been very well received, and so people know who we are. And we have 3 radios that link us in with CCTV, so we can be called by any of the evening economy agencies at night, and similarly if we need assistance we can call them. So yes, we work very well with all the agencies that are already out there. There's about 350 areas across the UK. In Lincolnshire itself, there are street pastors. I'm commissioning Skegness next week, and they will be the 6th area. There's Lincoln, Spalding, Stamford, Grantham and Boston, and then in North Lincolnshire there's Scunthorpe as well. But there's about 350 areas throughout Britain.
Basically, with the street pastors, Lincoln Big provide a home or a base for them with the radios, and we have a prayer team that sits in Lincoln Big that prays for the guys while they're out, and obviously the people that are out, the revellers. And I kind of go round and make sure everything's all right with the supplies for, say, the space blankets, the flip-flops, the water, and just basically try and look after the street pastors. Joy sits on lots of groups where we try and make a difference, the substance misuse and violent crime, just so we can try and make a difference to the whole nighttime economy.
This year I was awarded the High Sheriff's Award, and in our first year we had the Police Award, and we've won Rotary Service Beyond Self Award. We say go out, have a good time, but try and stay safe. Alternate an alcoholic drink with a non-alcoholic drink. Make sure you know how you're getting home, and always try and make sure that you don't drink too much, because we want you to have a good night but to get home safely.
Thank you for the privilege of being your hands and feet, your eyes and your heart, where we are in the city of Lincoln. As eyes that see as you see, hearts that love as you love, and words that you can